More people trying to advocate for the Pipeworks remasters. Oof.
No, here's the issue with that.
Years.
It's been years. They would have to acquire the rights to every monster used, which it's not the same in all of them, so they would be getting multiple different rights. That's going to cost a lot. Then they have to update all the graphics, which takes time and money. And then they would have to, I don't know, maybe there's some royalties with the voice actors, so they might have to work with those contracts. Distribution, they would have to ensure the clearance from Atari, even though Atari is kind of a dead company. They'd still have to get approval from whoever owns the Atari distribution rights now. And then they still haven't even considered like marketing for the new one and what platforms it's going to go on. Like, is it just going to be?
I mean, not only that, would it really be worth it for a company to remaster all 3 games? I don't think it would be.
No,
I don't think the market's there for that.
It would,
as sad as it is.
Pipeworks would be better off just making a new game, like combining all 3, taking what worked from all 3 of them, and then doing a brand new game for like the Switch, and kind of like what they did for Super Mario or Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or whatever. They took a lot of maps from all the different Mario Karts and they just made them new and then just threw together like this compilation game. Just do something like that.
The only other option I would see like being reasonable is porting them over to like Steam and maybe other platforms. But even then, it's like
they would lose money, wouldn't they not?
Because
either way, they would have to acquire the rights to still distribute.
Which is why I think that your point of making a new game is just probably about as valid as of an option as that, if not even better. Because then you have the fact it's a new game,
right?
So you can bring it to like E3 or E3's kind of dying. Bring it to like, I don't know, Xbox Direct or something. Something like that.
Exactly. And like the thing about is like the market is growing. And like, the Gigabash thing, it's just a DLC. It's just like Fall Guys, it's just like Call of Duty. Like it's nothing new. We've had Godzilla DLCs. We had it in Player Underground Battlefield. Player Underground's Battlefield.
Right?
PUBG, yeah.
Player Unknown's Battlegrounds.
Player Unknown's. Yeah.
I mean, wasn't there more an event rather than DLC?
I mean, yeah, the Call of Duty and the Player Unknowns was more of a DLC.
You mean event?
Event, yeah. But like the point still is like it was a temporary thing, and I don't think Gigabash will forever have Godzilla like characters in it now. Like that's,
I don't know. It depends on what deal they did, because like I mean, you can look at something like Dead by Daylight with Stranger Things, where like they have a DLC for Dead by Daylight where there's a Stranger Things map and like Steve from Stranger Things and the Demogorgon are playable characters. And that DLC was available for like a year or two, and now I believe you can't. Anyone who already has it is able to use that.
Oh, it's just like Call of Duty. It's just like Call of Duty.
Are unavailable, and you can't buy the can't buy them anymore.
That's how Fall Guys and Call of Duty are. Like people are still running around with the Godzilla, Kong, and Mecha.
I mean that's kind of normal practice.
Yeah, and I see that being exactly what Gigabash is.
Probably. I mean, it just depends on how long the license lasts, I suppose.
Right, yeah, how long that window is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool nonetheless, but like...
Could be a couple of years, could be longer, who knows. Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely cool. I think it'll definitely overtake the multiplayer, what little multiplayer there is for the game.
Yeah, wasn't the peak like 210?
I don't know. It's something pretty small, but it
Which
is like
surprised
an
me.
indie game.
Yeah, but it still surprised me because like that and Dawn of the Monsters have been marketed like crazy in this fandom.
Yeah, but still, it's not. That's not a huge market, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know. I don't because I mean the fucking Predator game. That's a big IP,
Mm-hmm.
and like that has like even less players. Predator Hunting Grounds.
Huh.
Bear in mind that game did have the issue of it came to Steam like 6 months later because it was a 6 month Epic launch fucking exclusive bullshit. Um, what were the? Hang on, I'm gonna look up what the Steam charts were for the most recent Aliens game because I
The
don't
one
think
that kind of got dumped.
Aliens Fireteam Elite. The all-time peak was about 15. Okay, that's much higher than I thought it was actually. The all-time peak was 15,000, but at the moment it's like about 600-ish people playing. And like
Gotcha.
that's not an indie game though, mind you. That is more a not it's not AAA. It's kind of like that in between. Holy shit! So the 24-hour peak for Gigabash was about 20 players. The all-time peak was 211 at around August, and now it just stays around 25-ish players usually in a day.
So even with the announcement of Godzilla, nobody's like started playing.
Hang on, what day was Godzilla announced again? Let me check
It
that.
was September like 7th.
Yeah, I think it is because there's a little spike around. Because it goes. Let me just check to be sure. September 14th.
So
Okay, no, that didn't really have any much of any impact.
that surprises me. That's like really shocking.
Hmm. Because hang on, I'll send you the fucking actual chart itself.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Hell, since the announcement it's gone lower.
Yeah. Mind you, this is only on one platform. Uh, there is the PlayStation, which I don't think numbers for that are known at all. So it's hard to say how many people are on playing it on the PlayStation.
Because I was
I
gonna
don't think
say
it'd be too many, but
like if 14 players were 7 minutes ago, and I imagine it's 4 players per like multiplayer round.
yeah,
So my odds of getting a full house are like
your best bet is playing with friends. I think.
that's like what if you don't have friends? Like
Well, tough luck. Play story mode, I suppose. Or I'm assuming there'll be a single. Like I'm assuming there's a single player versus mode. If there isn't, then there's a problem.
wow,
Yeah.
that honestly genuinely surprises me.
Mm. I mean, I don't think Dawn of the Monsters was much better, if even better at all. Oh, yep, nope. Dawn of the Monster. It is not giving me the charts at all. It says 0 current players at the moment, but that could just be because Steam charts is down. Let me check another site real quick. All-time peak 7 months ago for Dawn of the Monsters. You want to take a guess?
250.
24.
No way. No way.
24.
So this is okay. This circles back right back to the point I was making earlier. There's a very small market for a Godzilla game from Pipeworks, even if it
Okay.
was like
I should say, for clarification, that is 24 people playing at the same time.
No,
or
but
in it.
the point's still there.
Yeah. Oh no,
Like,
I agree. I'm just clarifying that for yeah, because there are about 65 reviews on Steam, so at least 60 people have bought the game and played it overall,
right, but like
except for the one guy
it
who received it for free.
it seems like none of these games sell more. Like, you can't tell me these have sold more than 1,000 downloads, 1,000 units. Guarantee it.
I would say Dawn of the Monsters is probably less than 100, or at most like a bit above 100. I mean, from what I understand, it's like Dawn of the Monsters is a lot smaller than like even Gigabash was.
All I can think about is like the market. Like, if we are petitioning and like begging Pipeworks and Toho to like make new Godzilla games, why are these two games specifically doing really bad? Like, I'm sure they're doing good for the like small scale productions they are. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure they're doing decent for that. But like, speaking from purely a business standpoint here, I don't see how spending money for a license for 3 games plus the kaiju in them and paying to remaster it is
Mm-hmm.
worth the trouble. I
Mm-hmm.
don't.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, like, I mean, there's also the fact that it's remastering 3 separate games. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, sure, you can recycle assets. Like, don't get me
A
wrong.
lot of the monsters.
Obviously, you'd like recycle like the Godzilla 2000 model between like 3 games. You know,
Mm-hmm. Pick the one that's the best. And
recycle Biolante, blah 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 blah, between Save the Earth and blah blah blah. You know, like obviously, if you were to hypothetically do that, you would recycle. Like
but you would
it's
still have to pay for the license for Biolante,
yes,
Godzilla, Mothra,
Jet Jaguar.
and like the licenses aren't cheap.
Mm-hmm.
To get
Yeah,
a
and
license,
Unleashed has a lot of monsters in it.
mm-hmm. And then you also like Gigan has 2 different forms.
Mm-hmm.
Which Gigan are you going to pick? If I guarantee you, if you do both designs, there's a licensing fee for
Mm-hmm.
designs as well. There's got to be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, if you want to license Gigan, we'll give you Final Wars. But if you
I
want the
mean,
72 one, you got to pay a little bit more to get that
I don't
one.
know. I don't. I think maybe that would apply to like say Mechagodzilla. I don't know if it really. I don't know if that the same would apply for something like Gigan though.
Well,
I wouldn't
Mechagodzilla,
completely put it past Toho, but like
well, Kiryu and Mechagodzilla have had 2 separate licenses in the past.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm sure Toho charges more if you want to use more than one design. I'm sure of it.
Mm.
I imagine it's like in the like when you like if you go to license Godzilla, they'll say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, which Godzilla do you want to use? Our main one wants to be 2000, but we also want to have a bonus of 90s and 54. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, then here's your price to use 2000, and then we're going to add a little bit more so you can also use these designs.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine it's
And then
just a
technically you
little
have
bit more.
Burning Godzilla with 90s
But I don't think
in Unleashed specifically.
I think they cut around that with the critical mass idea.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to pay for that. It was, oh, this is critical mass Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Burning Godzilla, and it worked. But like, I like the story. I guarantee you, there's probably some royalties with whoever came up with the story, or
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
and maybe there's not. But I guarantee you, there's more than just license the characters because, like I said, you have to get the distribution rights, and then
Mm-hmm.
you got to find a distributor. Which,
Mm-hmm.
if Gigabash and Dawn of the Monsters are examples, and Godzilla versus, the market's not there.
Yeah.
That's why we've been seeing a lot of like mobile games, and the mobile games don't last because I guarantee you they're not doing well.
The only one that's doing well is Battleline.
And
That's the only one. The other, I mean, there's a reason. What was it called? Godzilla Destruction got shut down.
every Godzilla game that's mobile gets shut down after like a year, and that's probably because nobody buys anything off of there.
I mean, I think. What's it called? The first. What was the Defense Force? That's still up, I'm pretty sure. And so is Run Godzilla. Battleline is doing well enough that it's getting more content being added to the game. Like,
right.
Varan is supposed to be announced like at like Godzilla Fest, for example, alongside the movie Monster Series figure for Varan.
Gotcha. But like, that's not like. There's a reason why all the mobile games get shut down or just don't update.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the life cycle of any game, really, particularly multiplayer ones and mobile games especially. Because like Alien vs Predator, whatever that game was called, got shut down. So Godzilla Smash 3 is gone.
I remember that one.
Yeah,
you had Strike Zone.
Is Strike Zone still up?
I liked that. Was the one where you played the military guy, right? Yeah, that one was pretty cool, and the graphics for a mobile game were surprisingly good.
I mean, it was also on PC, but like they actually updated the mobile version with an extra level later down the line for some reason, which is odd because I think that was after the movie came out too when they did that update.
I probably played it. I know I remember playing it a lot whenever 2014 was around.
Oh yeah, I remember playing it a lot too. Yeah, because they added like that extra level where like when Godzilla was chasing you, you actually could like see him instead of it being like all just the fog. That was the best level. That one that they updated.
Yeah. And I remember the frame rate like decreased exponentially during that one because the particle effects were like overpowering everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm against like a Pipeworks remaster or a new game from Pipeworks. It's I don't see a reason for why Toho should do it. Besides be nice to fans, but like Toho wants to make money first and foremost.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that if all of your numbers suggest that it's not worth doing?
Yeah.
And like all the people that sign that, not all of them are going to buy it.
Oh, definitely.
Like it's going to have a $60 to $80 price tag on it for whatever it comes out, and then some of those people are going to say, well, I want it on Xbox. No, it's a Sony exclusive. Well, I want it on Switch. No, it's a Sony exclusive. Well, I want this monster. Well, we don't want to license that monster. Like, there's going to be reasons why people don't get
it. If it was a remaster, maybe like a full remaster of the games, but if it was, say, a port, I think it'd be reasonable to suggest that it would probably be priced less than 60, probably around like closer to about 30. Yeah, probably about 30-ish.
But even then, I don't see the reason to like port it.
Oh yeah, no.
Like to me, porting it is like, oh, Criterion's re-releasing. Classic Media is re-releasing the Godzilla movies. It's the same discs you bought before, but now they're in standard DVD cases.
Yeah, but here's the difference between that. Either hardware dies over time, discs deteriorate. The current discs we have for Destroy All Monsters, Unleashed, and Save the Earth, they're going to be gone. And alongside the systems that you need to play them.
Well,
This isn't just like getting a new DVD release, a re-release. This is allowing something that you would play on your Xbox, your original Xbox or your PS2 or your Wii, and now you can play it on your computer. And now it is also better preserved digitally if you're doing it on a platform like Steam. Mind you, it can still be taken off the store,
right.
and
And
which has happened to games like Transformers 4 for Cybertron.
and then if it's taken off there, you can't access it unless you have
Minus
downloaded
piracy.
to your hard drive, right?
That and or piracy.
So like,
Because like digital preservation of like old games is kind of fucked at the moment.
I mean, that's pretty much every like digital preservation isn't a surefire way because a server could like Internet Archive.
Mm-hmm.
The server could shut down tomorrow and everything on there is lost unless people have backed it up on a hard drive. And even then a hard drive can get corrupt. And that's the issue. Like there's no surefire way of digital things being preserved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it is. I would say it's a bit more
Practical.
I don't want to say reliable, but
It's more practical. It's better than having a dozen
I'd say it's better than relying on physical.
Right.
Because physical is by nature
And
digital,
even,
you can copy, you can replicate.
True. But even then, sometimes when you copy, doesn't that also like if you download? Hang on. Because like if I shot a video on my phone,
yes,
that would be the highest.
Yeah,
and
that
then
would be your role.
And then I upload it to YouTube. It's compressed. Somebody downloads that video, it's compressed more, and then if they upload it, it gets compressed, and then it's downloaded again. It's like, doesn't it slowly just deteriorate the quality?
No, you see, that's video where it's like, through that method, sure, but like actually like copying the actual file.
So like if I sent you, like if I shot a video right now,
yes,
and I just sent you that file,
the uncompressed file, then yes, that would be literally the same thing. Yes.
Okay.
Same quality. Yes.
I have to talk about this in like video terms because I don't know games at all. So I'm like trying to relate this to like what I do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying here. Like, yeah, compression is definitely a thing, and I mean, in the case of like the digital versions of games, like of retro games, we do have the ROMs of say Destroy a Monster and all that. There are flaws. It's not. You don't play it on PCSX2 and it's one-to-one the exact same experience as playing the game on the PS2,
Right.
But it's pretty close. The emulator itself is pretty well optimized. There are some graphical issues, but it's pretty close. I mean, from what I understand, the ROM, I think, I could be wrong on this, mind you, I think the ROM it's literally the game. Like, it's literally a
one-to-one copy.
Yeah, from what I understand, yes. It's more that it's the issues with the emulator that are causing like the differences.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, bear in mind, a lot of these emulators are made by
fans.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha.
And that's why it takes years upon years to make emulators. That's why PS4 emulators, for example, are like for most games at best, you can get to the menu. That's it at the moment. That's why you can't play Godzilla PS4 on your computer.
Now, what exactly is an emulate? Like, is it just like this program that like allows you to use your keyboard? Like, what is it?
Yeah, it's like a software that allows the computer to behave like another software. So like you can take BlueStacks and use on your computer and use that as a sort of like a mobile phone for games, you know. So you can download things from the Play Store.
So it's like me putting a DVD into a Blu-ray player.
Sort of.
I'm trying to understand.
I don't think it's one-to-one. That I wouldn't quite call it that because
like when you put a DVD into a Blu-ray, the Blu-ray does upscale it slightly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, emulating does do some upscaling too. Or you can do upscaling. You can change like the frame rate.
It's slightly different than if I'm playing the PS2 version of Godzilla Unleashed, an emulator will try to replicate it, but it's going to be a little different than if I was playing it on the original format.
Yes.
Just as if putting in a Blu-ray to a 4K player or a DVD to a Blu-ray or DVD or Blu-ray to 4K player, it's going to be the same thing. It's just there's some slight differences in how it would be if I played it on a Blu-ray or DVD player.
Yes, I would say it's a bit more different just
there's
because...
more alterations because of like controls and whatnot.
Yeah, that and just video games are a bit more complex as well.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay. Or like how you can watch a movie on your computer and it's a little different because it's a different processor.
Sort of.
Like every time I use VLC to watch like a movie on this computer, it's always a little different because like it's more obvious it's pulling files. Or like I don't know, it's weird. I've always had a different experience watching a movie on my computer than watching it on my TV.
You should see me trying to fucking use VLC on my Xbox sometimes.
That sounds horrifying.
The VLC app on Xbox is absolutely disgusting. Like I love VLC on the computer. Best video player that I've used on PC. But the Xbox app is god awful. But so are most streaming apps on Xbox in general, honestly. Crunchyroll is like pretty bad. Shudder on Xbox is pretty bad. Paramount Plus just straight up will not install on my Xbox. Disney Plus and Netflix are fine. So is Prime mostly. But yeah,
Interesting. Well, we have had a solid 30-minute conversation about this. This is worth you know how we have those little rants from this is worth compiling into one of those just unedited just little
bonus YouTube exclusive discussion or something.
Yeah. And just called Kaiju Conversations about gaming or about kaiju video games.
The Kaiju Conversation discusses remastering Savior for whatever Pipeworks trilogy.
I like Kaiju Conversations, making it plural instead of singular. I don't know. Something like that.
We'll see what happens.
And don't forget to hit the bell and be notified anytime we upload. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and thank you all for listening. And as always, life's too short to not talk big.